Hey everyone, I'm your host, John Edlin, and welcome to another Tuesday Tornado Tips. It's June 30th, and I'm telling you, it was so fun to be in the studio all of June, except for today, I guess, um, to just kind of try a new format with Tornado Tips. We got to interview Wes Peary, who's a local meteorologist here in Kansas City, and then I interviewed my roommate from college, who's a longtime friend, was living in Korea at the time where I got hit by the tornado, and it was just really interesting to unpack his thoughts. And then he turned around and asked me some questions on another Tuesday Tornado Tips about just how I worked through the tornado. So just a really interesting June, a little bit different, better looking studio than down here in the basement again. But here I am again down in the basement. June 30th for a Tuesday Tornado Tips. And in this episode, I want to talk about the importance of knowing when tornado season is. So, a lot of people don't really understand that the tornado season is different for different parts of the US. So, Tornado Alley, which I think most people are kind of most familiar with. That's going to be like on the movie Twister and Twisters, the Oklahoma and Texas and even Kansas, more western Kansas kind of area. It's going to be your Tornado Alley, even up to Nebraska and Iowa and those types of places. That's Tornado Alley. And those times where you're going to see the most tornadoes are going to be March, April, May. Right. And so March, April, May is going to be a high time for that area. Dixie Alley is going to be kind of the same, although Dixie Alley, which is going to include like Arkansas, Nashville, where I was living at the time, that was, Dixie Alley. Parts of Missouri, lower Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, all that's going to be Dixie Alley. And a lot of people are saying that Tornado Alley is moving over to Dixie Alley. I think that could kind of be true, but I also think that Dixie Alley's always been around, and it's just one of those things where you always have to be looking out for tornadoes more February. Let's move it back a little bit. February, March, April, right? Just because the climates are different. Now, I will say you can have tornadoes at any point. I mean, there's been tornado sirens going off in Kansas City in December. Definitely in Nashville, I remember tornado sirens going off in November, December, January. So they can go off at any point, but I'm just saying the high points are going to be around that time. And then you have this other area that's kind of the higher plains. And we've seen a lot of tornadoes up in, Minnesota and upper Illinois and all those kind of Michigan areas, all the way up into Canada. And those tend to kind of set off around this time, late June, July, August, right? So that's kind of where it moves up into that area. So if you're in those areas, you want to kind of be aware this may be a time where I need to be a little bit more proactive on my tornado plan. This is a time where it's not, we take things seriously whenever we always take tornadoes seriously, but we really want to be on high alert during those months if you're in those areas. So you got Tornado Alley, Dixie Alley, and then those higher plains area where you've got, Canada and that type of place where you really want to be aware and to be ready. Now, obviously, tornadoes can literally hit in any state. I was on a lot of podcasts this month that have been really fun, and a lot of them I talked to, were in the Northeast, and they were telling me their tornado stories. Obviously, Florida gets a lot, and anytime there's a hurricane involved, there's going to be tornadoes that spin up with that as well. And so, I think that when you're already preparing for a hurricane, you're going to be okay for a tornado as well. You just want to keep an eye on the weather and have ways to receive alerts even when the power goes out. But the thing to really focus on, especially if you're in Tornado Alley, is going to be March, April, May. And that's where I live. I live in Tornado Alley. I live in Kansas City. There's this thing called the Tonganoxie Split, which is not real, but people believe it. It's where they, there's all these big storms that are coming off the Rockies and they're going over the Kansas plains and they're building and they're building and they're producing tornadoes and all this kind of stuff. Then they hit Tonganoxie, Kansas, which is just a little west of Kansas City. And the storms kind of split. They go up north and they go down south. And so all the big storms happen up north and down south. I mean, we do see that every once in a while. I think if you're looking for something like that, you'll see it a lot. But if you're looking at the reality of the situation, big storms come through Kansas City all the time. It wasn't that long ago where we had an EF4 tornado go through right in the Kansas City metro area. So let's all not like take those things as law or take those things as even seriously, because when you do, when you start believing the Tonganoxie splits and the tornadoes don't go across rivers and there's a bubble around my little town for whatever reason, the moment you start believing that is the moment you're going to be caught in a bad spot where you're not prepared because you believe the myths. I talk about this a lot in Tuesday Tornado Tips because it's what I believed before I was hit by an EF3 tornado. I believed that tornadoes would just skip on the hills. They would never go down into a valley, that Nashville and Tennessee tornadoes were super chill and they couldn't become violent. But that night at 1 a.m., when an EF3 tornado came barreling over our house, which was in a valley, by the way, it was in a valley, didn't matter. I was wishing that I wouldn't have believed those myths. So I created a book called not Tuesday. That would be nice if maybe I will create a book called Tuesday Tornado Tips. But this book is called The Tornado Survival Guide. And you can get it on Amazon. Just type in John Edlin or type in Tornado Survival Guide. And it's a small little book because I didn't want to overwhelm people with anything, but I wanted them to hear my story. I wanted to hear them tips. And the first chapter in it is Don't Believe the Myths. So for nothing else, just get it, read that first chapter, remember those myths, or even just Google the top 10 myths and just make sure that you're thinking through, am I believing these myths? Like a lot of them are like, a tornado can't go over water. Okay, that's not true. Like, I mean, the Cumberland River was literally right in the path of the tornado that hit us. It went over the Cumberland River. It had no trouble going over the Cumberland River to come and hit our house. It wasn't a thing for it. So yeah, just don't believe those things. And that's important. And so that's why I do the Tuesday Tornado Tips. That's why I'm going to continue to do the Tuesday Tornado Tips in July and August and all those things, because different parts of the U.S. are going to be affected. And then also you can always just listen and prepare, or you can go back. Maybe you'll watch this video in 2027 in March when your tornado season is starting up again, and you'll hear this and you'll be like, I should not believe the myths. That's my goal. Go back, watch some of the videos from July or from June. And as we head into July, get ready for more Tuesday Tornado Tips because they're still coming. So it's been a pleasure just doing these Tuesday Tornado Tips with you. I'm learning with you as we go along, and that's what makes it so fun, because me learning about tornadoes, me learning more about tornadoes has helped my storm anxiety go down. And I hope it's doing the same for you. I hope it's doing the same for you and your kids. And let's stay safe this tornado season, whenever that may be for you.